Hello, welcome to the self learning platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we start Unit 23 Nationalism, and our topic is Theories of Nationalism. The most hotly debated question in the context of nationalism is when and how did the nation appear? In other words, whether the national consciousness and sentiment is an evolutionary historical continuum or it is the result of modernism such as commercialization, industrialization, urbanization, mass participation in political culture, etc. Different theories of nationalism try to answer this question, though we do not find a final answer. For the sake of study, these theories can be divided into two broad categories: perennialism and modernism. Perennialism concentrates on the history of nations which are described as ancient and immemorial. They see the nation as a cultural community, immemorial, rooted, organic, natural, based on languages, seamless. That is, they see society as a whole and as a popular community that reflects the needs and ideals of the people. Ancestral ties and culture are of great importance to the advocates of this theory. On the other hand, modernists see the nation as a political community, modern social contract and social creation designed for an age of revolution and mass mobilization. The nation is seen as a creation of the elite in order to control and influence the thought and actions of the masses. They see the nation as divided different social groups representing religion, gender, and class, having different needs and therefore split into separate groupings. Let us have a look at these theories in detail. First, the perennial theories, which is primordialist socio-biological. The second is modernization theories, which are social communication theories, economist theories, Marxist and non-Marxist, and political ideological theories. Now we are going to discuss perennial theories. First is pre-modernism and socio-biological theories. Among the perennial theories, we can refer to the pre-model and the socio-biological perspectives. Pre-modernism assumes that the group identity is given, that there exist in all societies certain primordial irrational attachments based on blood, race, language, religion, reason, etc. They are, as Clifford Grease writes, ineffable and yet coercive ties, which are the result of a long process of crystallization. Modern states, particularly but not exclusively in the third world, are superimposed on the pre-modern realities, which are the ethnic group or communities. Pre-modernists believe that ethnic identity is deeply rooted in the historical experience of human beings to the point of being practically given. They believe that ethnic bonds are natural, fixed by the basic experiences that human beings undergo within their family ties and other primary groups. In short, according to Greece, first, the primordial identities are given or natural. Second, primordial identities are infiable, that is, cannot be explained or analyzed by referring to social interaction, but are coercive. And third, the primordial identities deal essentially with the sentiments or affections. The social biologists go a step further. This approach starts with the assumption that nationalism is a result of the extension of kin selection to a wider sphere of individuals who are defined in terms of putative or common descents. It insists that nationalism combines both rational and irrational elements, that is, a primitive mind with modern techniques. The word nationalism expresses different realities: a love of country, the assertion of national identity and national dignity, as well as the exophobic obsession to obtain these things through violence and sacrifices. Nationalism builds on ethnocentrism towards the in groups and exophobia towards the out groups. According to Shaw and Tuba, nationalism fosters pride, dignity, and related sentiments are members of the in group, thereby constituting a moral and philosophical basis on which to demand the political. It has its roots in the past, but it is a contemporary vehicle to vent out human propensities to war. It is important to this context to emphasize the psychological dimensions of nationalism. A bond is established between the individual and the nation based on the idea that the latter is a family writ large. The individual identifies with the nation and hence prefers it to other nations. The extensive use of kin terms to refer to the nation reflects this psychoaffective reality that is called matripatriotic, with an associated fraternal component. Next is modernization theories. Modernization theories of nationalism broadly assert that nationalism is a modern phenomenon and is the result of the process of transition from traditional to modern society. Some of these theories focus more specifically on the spread of industrialization and the socio-economic, political, and cultural conditions functionally associated with it as the main cause for the development of nationalism. The ideological roots of modernization are found in Renaissance, scientific revolution, and the Enlightenment. At the economic level, modernization was brought about by the development of commerce and then the process of industrialization. At the political level, it implied the appearance of the modern nation state, a centralized, bureaucratic, territorial sovereign polity. When applied to known Western societies, some features of modernity, such as commercialization, bureaucratization, secularization, urbanization, mass communication, literacy, may be present, while industrialization is often absent. Modernization theories of nationalism come under different forms. Let us study them in detail. First is social communication theory. A pioneering study on the effects of modernization on nationalism was Carl Dietrich Nationalism and Social Communication. Here he deals with the growth of nations and nationalism in the context of transition from traditional to modern societies. Dietrich emphasized the centrality of communication in the making of national communities. He defines nation as a group of people who communicate more effectively and intensively with one another than with people outside the group. He focuses on the development of internal communication within the state as leading to the creation of a common sense of moral and political identity. As he says, in the political and social struggles of modern age, nationality means an alignment of large number of individuals from the middle and the lower classes linked to the regional centers and leading social groups by channels of social communication and economic intercourse, both indirectly from link to link and directly with the center. By using a variety of data from economic history and demography, Dietrich pointed out that the massive social mobilization which went along with the process of commercialization, industrialization, and urbanization, as well as with the growth of general literacy and mass communication, were responsible for the growth of nationalism. Another writer who has established a link between modernization and nationalism is the American political scientist Dankwart Rastow. In his book A World of Nations, he writes that the essential link between modernization and nationalism consists, of course, in the need for an intensive division of labor. Other key features such as equality and loyalty have also been essential to the nation that emerged from the modernization process. Modernization and nationhood are closely related, and the most appropriate political structure to achieve advanced modernization is the nation state. Another scholar, Steen Rocken, has proposed a log degree which places some important variables in the medieval and early modern periods. In the modern situation, he accounts for the accelerated nation building in the 19th and 20th centuries by referring to six factors. First, combination of rural and urban resources. Second, spread and localization of industrialization. Third, pressure towards centralization and unification of the state. Fourth, pull of imperialist tendencies. Fifth, tension between center and periphery during the course of ethnic linguistic mobilization. And sixth, the conflict between the state and the church. Yet another important writer, Benedict Anderson, in his book Imagined Communities, emphasizes the issue of social communication in the early period of the development of nationality. According to him, national consciousness was made possible with the breakdown of three defining characteristics of pre-modern period: sacred scripts, divine kingship, and conflation of history with cosmology. Anderson defines nation as an imagined political community, imagined as both limited and sovereign. His argument about the origin of nationalism leads to the focus on the tremendous impact of print capitalism. The book was the first commodity produced in a massive way. This was one area in which early capitalism, using the new technology of production, was able to make great profits. The effect of print language was felt on national consciousness by the means of creation of a unified language, which allowed to sizable part of the population to read the same text and identify with each other. Further, by giving fixing to language, it was possible to develop the idea of the antiquity of one's nation. According to Anderson, what made the new communities imaginable was a half conscious but explosive interaction between a system of production and productive relation, that is capitalism, a technology of communication, and the type of fatality of human linguistic diversity. At a later stage in history, state consolidated both at home and in the colonies, created groups of people who felt politically and culturally excluded, and by imaging themselves as communities were able to shake off alien rule. To wind up this lecture, thank you so much for your attention.